What up? Welcome back to another video. I'm really excited about this video for one thing. Lots of you have been reaching out to me for years asking me, hey Tony, what exactly is your editing process? And I've been reluctant to share, not because I'm gatekeeping or anything, but simply because it's a lot, right? I've amassed a lot of this knowledge over many years and I've tried to condense it down into a 10-minute video, but it's been very, very hard until now. So today, I'm going to show you what my editing process looks like in 2025. Now, I know you're most likely a professional watching this, but this section is really for the newbies in the room. So, for the newbies, listen to me. When you purchase a professional camera, I know there's a misconception out there that says, oh, a professional camera is just going to give me professional shots because you're used to taking photos on your iPhone, which does a lot of the processing for you. Get that out of your mind. It's completely different when it comes to photography. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on the camera itself and then moving into your post-production. So let's talk about the camera. So when you pick up your camera, make sure you have a very good understanding of the exposure triangle, which is ISO, your shutter speed, and your aperture. If those three things mean nothing to you, then you've got some work to do. Go watch another video on the exposure triangle and understand how to get your settings right in camera. Then the second thing is understanding how to use your camera, right? Cameras come in different shapes and sizes with different size sensors, which will make an impact on the type of image that you're going to receive. So get to understand what type of sensor you have, the sensor size, and the accompanying lenses that go with your camera system to give you different looks. Once you have figured that part out, then we can go into the next step of the process. So now you've gotten your professional image and you're ready to take that off your camera and go put it in your editing software and get to editing, right? Wrong. This is where some of you professionals get things wrong. The second most important step is actually the monitor that you see over there. Now, I'm going to dumb this down for beginners, but the most important thing about the monitors that you select is the color space that they can display. You see, I did not just walk into Best Buy and randomly select these two monitors off the shelf and go about my life. See, when selecting the monitors for myself, I looked at several things. Obviously, I looked at screen size, resolution, which is pretty much a given, but more important than the resolution and the size is actually the color space that they can display. Now, I'm going to go even further without getting into the weeds to say the color space that's most important for me is P3. You see, most people in North America where I live use Apple products. So they've got the iPhones, they've got iPads, and they've got MacBooks. And the displays there are color calibrated to display the P3 color space. Knowing that the majority of my audience is going to be viewing images in the P3's color space, I went and selected monitors that were great at displaying that P3 color space. So I've got a Dell monitor up there that can display over 90% of the P3 color space. And then I've got this ultra-wide BenQ monitor that can display 98% of the P3 color space. Okay, so now you purchase your monitor, you bring it home, you plug it into your computer, and you're ready to get editing, right? Wrong. The next step is actually calibrating your display. And I got myself this, which is a color calibrator. Okay, I know it's getting overwhelming, but bear with me because I promise everything after this is much easy. Color calibration is important. When you buy these professional monitors, yes, they display the color space that you want to see, so P3 for example. However, they need a little bit of fine-tuning to display those colors accurately. So when you bring it in, you want to purchase yourself a color calibrator that you're going to plug in and calibrate your display for the space that you're in, the lighting that you use, and so on and so forth, so that you can get the most accurate looking pictures at a camera. Again, important step, purchase a professional editing monitor with a wide color space and make sure you calibrate your monitor. Okay, let's get to the easy part now. Okay, so now we're on step 3 or 4. Kind of lost count. Either way, listen to this. We're now ready to start editing. In the past, I used to use 3 or 4 different pieces of software to do color editing, skin editing, a bit of modifications here and there in Photoshop to get my final image. And it would take anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes to edit just one photo. When you have to deliver hundreds of photos to clients, sometimes that process can take weeks, if not months. In 2025, that process is completely different for me, And this is where I need you to pay attention once again, because I am going to make this very simple for you. A piece of software I've introduced into my editing workflow in 2025 is called Aperty. Aperty is an AI-based editing software, and I'm so excited to show you how it has revolutionized my entire editing workflow. As I jump into the computer to show you what Aperty has done for my images, I want you to think three things: faster, natural, professional. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, I do need to let you know this. Number one, Aperty is not sponsoring this video, which means they haven't given me any cash to make this video. Now, they did give me a license to try out the software, and because I was already using AI editing for skin retouching, I decided to give this one a shot, and it turns out that it's really, really good. Number two, if you use the link in my description, not only will you get a 7-day free trial, but if you pay for the annual subscription, you will get one additional month for free. And most importantly, right now in April, Aperty is running a promotion whereby they are taking 50% off the price of the subscription. So you have the option to go that way. But wait, there is more. One of the most important things for me is the ability to have options. Aperty gives you the option of paying a subscription for it, or you can buy a perpetual license and own it entirely. And so that is a great value proposition. Now let's take a look at the software. One of the most important things you also need to know about Aperty is the fact that this thing runs completely offline. Whereas in other softwares, they rely on the cloud, sending your data upwards, using their servers to process your photo and then bring the results back down. Aperty runs completely offline, which is important for individuals on the go. So that's another great advantage. So let's get into this photo. Over here, one of the things I like about Aperty is it gives you the camera profiles. So if you don't want to use their default color space, you can use what the camera would have seen behind your screen. So I'm going to use camera portrait for this Sony image. Okay, so that's great. We're going to turn the white balance down a bit here. We'll bring up the exposure just a little bit. We'll turn up the shadows, but we won't do it too much because I want to show you an exciting feature in this. We will turn up the contrast a bit. And then we go down here to details. Medium details, we'll pull it up just a bit. Perfect. Okay, so this Essentials panel is similar to what you'd see in different editing suites like your Lightrooms and your Capture One. And so know that you can use this as a standalone editor without having to pay for those other suites. You also have the option as using this as an extension to Lightroom or a Capture One, where you can do half your work in there and then use this for skin retouching. So once again, options. For myself, I prefer to do my color editing in one piece of software because I've got a quick workflow there, and then come here for my skin retouching. So jumping into the retouch panel, this is where all the magic happens. Starting off with the blemish tool. Let's zoom into her face. As you can see, lots of blemishes there. Turn this up to 100%. Look at that. In just a second, it is all gone. We're pretty much done. Of course, I'm going to show you more features, but this is amazing to me. The fact that with just one slide of a slider, everything is gone in terms of all the blemishes. Next, we're going to go to face skin. We can add a little bit of skin smoothing. You don't want to add too much. The other thing that I love about Aperty is the fact that even with some skin smoothing, you still see the pores in the skin, right? Because one of the important tenets for Aperty is to maintain that natural look and not make your models look like they have porcelain skin. So skin smoothing, even if you crank it up a lot, it's still going to look very natural, which is important to me. Moving on from there, the feature that I wanted to show you is face brighten. Now this photo doesn't technically need it, but I wanted to show you how the feature works. So rather than having to create a mask, which you can do with AI, you can also just go to face brighten and use it to automatically brighten up the face. So I don't want to do that much of it, just a tiny touch there. And then I'm going to go back to my develop panel and use shadows to bring out the rest of the face a bit there. Perfect. We'll turn down the highlights just a little bit. And there you go. Maybe turn it down a little bit more. And before, after, before, after. Perfect. So then I want to go into my color. We're going to turn up the vibrancy, maybe a touch of saturation, and maybe a little bit more contrast. And I'm very happy with this image. Now, another feature that I like is the fact that you can copy the adjustments and paste it. So this is another raw image, which I'm going to paste the adjustments to, and boom. In a matter of seconds, we're done. Okay, so with the first model, her skin was pretty much good, but let's look at another model where her skin is a bit challenging. So zooming into her face, you can see how noticeable the blemishes are. So let's take a look at what blemish removal can do. Look at that, absolutely natural in a matter of seconds. Now, moving on from there, one of the other features that I love is going to the makeup feature where you can add some contouring. So rather than spending hours dodging and burning, you can do it all in one slider. Boom. Notice how this part of the face got a little bit darker, whereas this got a little bit lighter, and then there's a little bit of darkness added there just to shape the face and contour it. So before, after, before, after. In a matter of seconds, I've gotten this face to look quite professional. And if we go back to face skin, and again, use the face brightening just to even out her face compared to the rest of her body. Let's brighten this a little bit. And look at that. Now you see how they're more in line and looks really natural. Zooming in, again, before, after, before, after. So again, when it comes to my workflow, the thing that was taking me the most time was that skin retouching. And with the use of this tool, as you can see in the two examples, you can edit your photos really, really quickly with the tools that are available. Again, you can do all of this offline in a matter of seconds. This is what makes this tool extremely powerful, and I'm truly going to be using this going forward. With that said, let me show you a few other features that are contained in this tool. So you've got AI masking, where again, you can easily select to mask a person, mask the background, mask the sky. If I click persons, let's see how long it takes. Look, it's already done. Before I'm even done talking, it has masked out the individual. And then I can go to my Essentials tab and increase the exposure on her if I wanted to, or increase the contrast, or whatever else I wanted to do. I can easily get that done, and I can modify the mask. There are other features in there, such as cropping the image, and then being able to transform the image or reshape it. Another powerful tool that's contained in here is the creative tool. Over here, you can add artificial lighting where you can essentially relight your scene if you wanted to. Over here, you've got portrait bokeh, and what that is if you shot an image at a very high f-stop number, say f5.6 or f8, and you missed out on all that blurry background, what you can do is artificially add it back to your image using portrait bokeh. Of course, this photo doesn't need it. You have the option of adding your own LUTs, and so if you're really into color grading, or if you've purchased some LUTs that you want to use with your images, you're able to add them here. You're able to add film grain, so on and so forth. This software can be used as an extension to Photoshop or Lightroom, or you can use it as a standalone app. Okay, so let's do one more image. So this model over here got pretty good skin, but she has a few blemishes here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our retouch panel. We're going to remove all blemishes, slide it to 100%. Look how great her skin looks already. We're going to zoom out. Maybe we're going to do a mask here. So let's do a mask. So we're going to mask her out right there, already done. We're going to turn up the exposure on her so that she's a little bit more balanced with the environment. Perfect. Let's go back to our retouching panel over here. There's nothing else that I really want to do. I might smoothing the skin a little bit. Awesome, that's looking really good. And then maybe the last thing I might want to do here is go to makeup. We're going to go to contour. We're going to add some contour over there. Perfect. And we're going to feather it to ensure that the transitions are smooth. So you've seen that there's a little bit of dodging and burning done. That's done for you. Maybe let's drag it back just a little bit. Let's take a look at before and after, and look at how amazing that looks. Okay, so we're at the end. I hope by following all of these steps, you can go from being an amateur to a professional in a very short amount of time. This piece of software, I truly stand by it because it allows me to get all my skin editing done really, really quickly. I can do it offline, I can do batch processing, and most importantly, the look remains natural. If you click my link, again, you'll get 1 month extra free on your annual subscription, and you'll get a 7-day free trial to try it. And if it doesn't work out for you, guess what? There's a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. So there is no risk to you. Try it out, see if it works for your workflow, and I'm excited to see the work that you create from it. Again, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day.